Between COVID shutdowns, shortages, supply chain disruption, and the insidious impact of inflation on the consumer, no industry has had it rougher than the food and beverage companies. Add to that profound changes in the ways customers discover and purchase their goods. Companies will need to have the right products now and in the future, innovative processes, and an ever-evolving competitive playbook. That means listening to their consumers to get their feedback in almost real time. With all of this in mind, NuVoodoo recently fielded a wide-ranging inflation impact study to help the consumer packaged goods and retail grocery industries survive and thrive. We'll take into account a broad spectrum of household types, demographics, and monthly budgets so you can better understand what it will take to cultivate a competitive edge when launching new products or simply trying to maintain market share. Plus, we'll show you the most effective ways of reaching your audience with the right message on the right channel. There's a lot of great information, so let's get started.
Better than 70% of Americans make at least a weekly pilgrimage to the grocery store, with nearly 4 in 10 shopping a few times a week or even every day. The most frequent are men between the ages of 18 and 54, with around a quarter making the trek to the grocer daily. And nearly 6 in 10 35 to 54 men are ringing the register at the supermarket either daily or nearly that often.
If you have kids at home or come from a large household, then you're most likely a regular in the grocery aisles at the supermarket. Nearly half of survey participants with kids, and better than 4 in 10 from households of 3 or more, are making frequent, if not daily, trips to the supermarket to buy food. By comparison, not quite 1 in 3 empty nesters, singles, or couples are visiting the grocery store with that kind of frequency in a typical week.
Men and women 35 to 54 are the largest spenders on groceries, with around 4 in 10 doling out north of $300 in a typical month. That over-indexes the monthly spending of our total sample, where the plurality are parting with between $100 and $300 a month to keep their kitchen stocked up.
More mouths to feed mean larger grocery bills. Today, nearly half of families with kids in our study are shouldering a monthly tab of $300 or more, and a third of families with children are spending north of $400 a month on food.
Rising prices have forced nearly 62% of our total sample to spend more on food at the supermarket compared to a year ago. And for Americans above the age of 55, which includes retirees living on a fixed income, that number jumps to around 7 in 10.
Also stretched by food inflation are families with kids and households of 3 or more. Roughly 2 in 3 in each segment say are spending more compared to a year ago.
The rapid increase in food prices has forced cutbacks across a broad array of consumer segments. Roughly a third in our total sample say they're cutting back on what they buy at the grocery store compared to a year ago. And for young adults under 35, that number is around 4 in 10, now spending less at the supermarket. About a third of the nearly 2,000 in our sample have cut back on eating out at restaurants. And for Americans over the age of 55, those percentages jump to well over 40% dining out less.
For families and large households, it's all about the kids. So in addition to spending less at the grocery store and restaurants, moms and dads appear to be cutting back on alcohol at a much higher rate than singles and empty nesters.
While consumer demand for CPGs largely remains constant, this is nevertheless a highly competitive sector due to high market saturation and low consumer switching costs. And in 2022, the most lucrative opportunities for brands are finding shoppers on the hunt for bargains to blunt the impact of inflation. At NuVoodoo, our marketing team works hand in hand with our internal research department to incorporate proprietary study findings into every client ad campaign. It's our secret weapon when it comes to getting the word out about new products or savings opportunities. Our golden rule here at NuVoodoo is follow the data.
As of August 2022, these are the most used social and digital apps. Google and sister company YouTube share the broadest demographic reach, attracting better than 80% of users under the age of 55. They also attract significant percentages of 55-plus consumers. Meta-owned Facebook and Instagram share complementary strengths, with Facebook excelling above the age of 35 and Instagram especially strong among 18 to 34. Since advertising for the two are generally sold in combo, these properties pack a significant punch for digital marketers.
When it comes to more frequent and higher spending consumer segments, such as households with kids or those with 3 or more occupants, the potential reach for these foundational 4 ad channels, Google, Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram, only grows stronger.
I'm Roger Malinowski, and in our next video, we'll tackle the biggest consumer trends of 2022, from the top 10 products that consumers are most loyal to the most popular new ways to shop. We'll also play buzzword bingo and share top industry product labeling and marketing lingo. So if you're looking for ways to give your brand a leg up and reach your customer in the fastest and most efficient way, you won't want to miss this.
NuVoodoo specializes in foundational 4-ad campaigns and other digital marketing strategies for the retail, food, and consumer packaged goods industries. For more information, just email us at tellmemore@nuvoodoo.com.